everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to answer the infamous question, what am I doing wrong in Apex Legends? We're going to be exploring it through Solo's gameplay today, and actually it's going to be Tony's gameplay. Solo's is literally hands down the best mode because you have no one else to point the finger at besides yourself. I see in the comment section all the time, you guys comment and say, how do I improve? You feel stuck at your current rank. And that's why I have Tony joining us, because he's a new store member, a good friend, has been grinding for a 20 bomb. And it's not easy. So also check out his channel, and just in general has awesome content. So before, let's talk about even bigger names struggle with this. Predators, pros, and high-level players. They get comments trashing, you could have done this better. Why aren't you playing that right? It's, guys, always hindsight 2020. It's easier said than done. That's why we VOD review, and we're going to segue and get into that right now. And we're going to watch his VOD and solos, and even though it's 19 kills, there's always room for improvement, okay, guys? And we're going to talk about the momentum and give you guys the absolute best tips on how you can improve and fix that problem and answer the question, what am I doing wrong in Apex? So let's get into it. Yo, Tony, what's up, man?
Yo, how's it going?
I'm excited, dude. I mean, I know that you've, you know, not to spoil it, but you've already gotten the 20 bomb, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So...
Yeah, it was rough, but you got it.
You got it, which is good. So we're gonna teach today the VOD review process and what you can do better. Remember, it's not always about what you could have done in that moment. We're gonna talk about the different pathways and how you can fix it, and talk about your momentum. And I think people are really gonna learn a lot from it. I think the biggest mistake is people suck at VOD reviewing. I'm gonna be blunt. You know, it's a hard skill set because you have to be very humble and honest with yourself. You know, it's not easy. All right, so let's talk about where you're dropping hot. We know everyone in solos drops hot, so that's good. We see lots of teams. So let's see if you go for a pillbox or if you're gonna go right inside for some loot. We'll see what happens here. I'm actually because you know most people don't even know that you can just hit pillboxes and get loot right away. All right, so you got your gun, very nice. You get 2 to the right, and you got about 4 to 5 in front. This is something also, and you can answer this question. When you're dropping, are you paying attention and counting the number of people nearby just as I did? I'll go ahead and pause it. I want your genuine answer. Do you do that?
Oh, yeah. I look at right now, like right away, I'm looking at, oh, crap, we don't have a full lobby. So now the sense of urgency is kicked in because it's 50 people.
Yeah.
So that means with there being 3 less people, that's 6 kills off the board potential, right? And that's why, like, I wouldn't say turned as quickly as I did, because obviously I was looting there, taking my sweet time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I need the massive. I always like a close range and a long range, right? Or mid to long range. So yeah, I do look at the people. I look at the kill feed, and I'm really aware of what's going on. Perfect.
Knowledge is key. Information. And even if you don't have information, that means that is information for you to rotate or potentially not push because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Also, I'm going to pause again. Ballsy for you to run Valkyrie whenever she is bugged. And the fact that you got I think you got the 20 bomb with her, right?
Yes, with her. Yeah,
wow, that's insane.
On a broken controller and a headset that I can only hear out of one ear because, spoiler alert, I broke my stuff after I choked the 20. So yeah, here we go.
Don't get mad, get glad, right? Not sponsored by Glad. Okay, let's talk about this encounter. This is pretty good because you caught him off guard. But remember, when you catch an opponent off guard, where are you positioning, where your fallback? Right now, you got to the right here. This is your fallback positioning. So that's pretty solid. And you catch them off guard. Catching your opponent off guard is always key, and you knew where to get the jump. So pretty solid, not too bad, first encounter. And if you're wondering if you're the other Bloodhound, for example, and you get caught out, you just can't run right into a room. Let's look at the positioning of the Bloodhound right off the ripper here. Let's just talk about this, especially if the Bloodhound's like, what did I do wrong? Gun is just, you're running out in the open. It doesn't look like they have no idea or care in the world. They're not checking angles. They're not looking at where a potential person is. Even if they got blasted, they should be repositioning and running, and they just kind of like, oh, where are they? And they get shocked. That's, boom. Unfortunate. So we're going to do, we're skip ahead. Let's say, oh, we don't even need to skip ahead. Let's take a look right here. Another person just caught off guard. A lot of damage. Good armor swap there, reposition. Very nice. But you did get the opening shot, which was clean here. So very nice, Tony, on the jump here. Getting the jump is always important. Even if they know you're coming. That burst damage is everything. And granted, you whipped the second shot. It's perfectly fine. Listen, I'd rather all of you guys, and this is also for you, Tony. It's okay to miss shots because mechanics can be cleaned up in the test range. Okay?
Yeah.
If you get to the point where your mechanics is your only problem, then you're in a really good spot. And then you know what to work on. Then all you need is time, okay? And anybody watching this who struggles with your aim, unfortunately, you will have to put time in the range just to land shots if you do get the jump on the opponent. If you got the jump here and you whiff 3 shots in a row, I would say, Tony, at that point, it's just you got to land your shots, right? Because you got the jump on him, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Good momentum. And we're going to talk about, because this is a VOD where Tony did well, and we're going to find things that he did incorrect later, because obviously we need to figure out where he went wrong of getting the 20 bomb elimination. And sometimes, going to be honest, the answer is just...
It's going to be right in our face. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Good patience. Good fight. No really big notes there, besides, I mean, when we look at this fight.
Yeah, a lot of my fights are I'm looking for it. That's one thing too. Like I'm looking for it. If I hear them, I'm going. If my battle sense says enemies are nearby, I'm trying to figure out where the hell they are.
Yeah. You're playing the door to buy some time here. Person's backing up and repositioning. Okay, this is where the battle can get a little rough and people start playing doors. I'm glad that you're repositioning, because if you just stay stuck on the door, most people always make the mistake of staying stuck on the door. This is where I call the decision making like hesitating, right? Because you don't really know. Everyone's trying to figure out what to do. This is where Alter kind of shakes things up. Either you're going to kick down the door or you're going to reposition. You do reposition, but let's say a worst case scenario here, Tony. All right, you heard shots right behind you. What if you get shot in this moment? Right?
If I get shot in the back, I should have left a long time ago, because it's just decision making. But I heard the shots and I can tell they weren't like at me. So like in my head, I'm like, I got a little bit of time, but I knew I wanted to take the roof, but I wanted to make sure he was off the door. So I had time to get on the roof and position. And what you saw here, if he hit play, I lit him up.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure he was officially off. Okay, he's off.
Now remember, being quick is important, so you could have done this much sooner. Now this is nitpicking, right? This is why, VOD review hindsight 2020, and I look at this stuff myself. And anybody watching, this is where you start to nitpick and ask a question. Right now, it would be the ideal moment to go on height. Even if they come out the door, you have to be confident you're going to land those shots, right? Because you don't have heals, and you already left right here. So 2 moments, you could have already climbed up and already done it right here. So all I'm doing is speeding up the decision making. Now, granted, it's only, let's say, about 4 seconds have passed here. He goes back again. But that 4 seconds makes and breaks if you get third-partied or how fast you clean this up. Now, those seconds matter in a higher tier lobby. I'm not saying this is a low tier lobby. I'm giving an example if this is like a pro lobby or something, right?
Yeah.
And most casual,
like applying it to ranked, right?
Yes,
like,
yes.
If we're in a ranked setting, you wait too long here, you're gonna get 30 because people are definitely looking for the kills.
4 seconds is enough time for anybody to traverse at least 40 to 50 meters, depending on the utility that they use, and even gets even shorter then. Because this same scenario would have happened right there, you landing the shots, if you just went a little faster. Now, there's some downsides to this. Okay, I'm gonna pause right here. There's some downsides. As you move faster, your anxiety kicks up more. And so when players keep asking the question, why do I feel tense and nervous? And then how do I solve it? You got to keep putting yourselves in those scenarios. And you're going to lose and you're going to make mistakes. But let's say you took the roof and you whiffed the shots. It's mechanics. Don't worry. You're good, man. You're good. And those happen. And anybody who comments in any video or anything has to understand that it's perfectly fine. It's not the end of the world. And if your chat roasts you or your friend roasts you, I mean, come on. It's just hours in at that point. You got the right mindset. You know what I mean? Shouldn't worry about anybody else's opinion in your gameplay, because if they were in that intense scenario, I guarantee you they're also going to make the mistake. Because they do. That's what happens in pro play as well. People watch pro players like, how can they make that mistake? Pressure. And that's all you're trying to do to your opponent. Because if you move faster and outperform that Pathfinder, he will feel pressure and make mistakes as well. So you got the battle sense here. Got the jump on him. It looks like he came back for more. And yeah, and let me go to say this is another tip. Don't let your anger or your ego get the best of you. I'll repeat that again. Don't let your anger or ego get the best of you. Because, I mean, when you get in there and you're fighting, I mean, you'll go in and start making mistakes.
Like that Pathfinder, like he swung in, he got mad, and I think it was a different Pathfinder, but because I already eliminated the other one.
True.
But still, like I think that was a very like ego or not calculated play. Like you said, like I noticed my battle sense went off right away, and I was aware looking for it. He wasn't looking for it like that. There's
a difference between a dumb push and an intelligent push, and I hate to put it to those extremes, but when you're trying to analyze and think, okay, they think all streamers just push and they're not thinking. Maybe there are some streamers that do. Maybe there's some pros that do. But at the end of the day, they are making calculated approaches based on their positioning. And that was not a calculate. That was just full on, I am going to be better. And sometimes your mechanics are that good. Sometimes they are. So good momentum here. You got 5 eliminations. There's nothing wrong right now in terms of getting a 20 bomb, just so you know. Right now you're on pace and you're doing the absolute best, and this is what we would call random number generation and just luck of the draw. I'm gonna be very honest, you know, because at this point, let's say the rest of the lobby dies out and you only get like 10 kills at the end. That's just bad luck. But right now, I would say everything you're doing correctly right now is with momentum. That's a mistake on the Ultra's part. If they're going to push, they're going to push. They're just kind of giving you all the time in the world to think. You got 2 altars, the one above. Clean that up. Very nice. And you have the other one push in. Now, that was pretty good. You landed all your shots. Now, the hard part around here is that, remember, information is key, right? This could have been the end of your trip here in your 20 bomb, right? You out-mechanicked it, which is fine. But always hindsight 2020. Remember, you know that there's one person here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you notice the skin color was a different color, and then I come over here and you notice the second portal. This is another person. What if the other person came around the corner and also blasted you? And what if this person shotgun you for 90? And then they come in. What if that what if that person landed that PK shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, in that moment, the person was going for the third party, right?
Yeah.
But they, unfortunately, they didn't have the momentum. So opposite end, they heard the shots, they hesitated, they had their port, they didn't push in, and the other person was trying to push in as well, and you just happen to have the better momentum selecting who to fight. So, kudos, good. This is good. Not much you could have done elsewhere besides reposition afterwards a bit more, because you kind of just ran into the other person, but you did out-mechanic them, so... Hey, you take the out-mechanics where you can, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so let's take a look at what went wrong here.
No cover, nothing.
No, you kind of did the exact same thing as a Bloodhound, but the Pathfinder knew exactly where you were coming from, which is the hard part. You're going upstairs without knowledge and where your fallback is. You don't have a fallback besides jumping off the side here.
Yeah.
And you could have out-mechanicked them, sure. But if we look at the biggest key indicator here, it's that moment. They already knew.
Literally right there. Like, right here.
Yeah. They already knew, unfortunately. And that's what you did to the Bloodhound, and that's what you did to the other Pathfinder. You just happen to have the Uno reverse card happen right here, which is... I mean, it's unfortunate. It just happens, you know? The only thing you could have done is maybe flown up on the other side, use your utility, and try to look for them in a different spot rather than just running up the stairs. And if you do use the stairs, I mean, you're trying to use it as a head glitch, but they are already pushed up too far, right? You can see it from the... Oh, that was good POV here. And there's another person in the back, which you would... Even if you won that fight, it would have been bad anyways.
So, like, the obvious answer, right? The hindsight answer is... Should have exited and flown out, take height, reposition.
Yeah.
Just take my time.
Just take your time, look for a different angle, instead of just shoving right up the stairs, because you have no idea what you're getting yourself into up there. Quite yet. But now you have the information, so that's why you're moving more confidently. You're like, I know where he's at. He's somewhere here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where... Oh, there's a fight. You go up to height. You third place, see one guy on the right. Oh my god, and the other guy just happens to blast them, but you should have one more on your right here, right? Yep. Now, one thing I want to talk about is your loadout. For anybody playing solos and playing entry, having a shotgun is probably one of your best entry weapons, and the Hemlock is a fantastic burst weapon and follow-up. I mean, weapon meta changes all the time. You could say, you know, R99 Wingman one season, right? But this season, Hemlock and Mastiff is really, really strong. Or
if you're a crutch controller player, use a Havoc, or any player actually, Havoc, but
Nemesis, Wingman.
More consistency with the Hemlock. That's why I like go for it.
Yeah, it's a good loadout choice. This is solid because you got your burst in the fight and you can reposition.
Mm-hmm. All
right, you didn't pause, you didn't hesitate. You're moving, which is good. I mean, they can see you. There you go, and you had to armor them. Let's talk about another tip here, and I think you realize this later as you started improving. That as you out momentum players, because you have better armor, you're always going to go into fights later, and they get easier and easier. Because you're always on purple and they're always on white or blue. Did you feel that and notice that as you started getting better at those jumps?
Especially, that was the feedback I got after choking several times 20 bombs. People in my chat saying, when you have purple or you have red, like you do not stop. Because you're going to have the damage advantage over them, the shield advantage, right? No matter what. So if I keep playing the way I have been, which is calculated, right? I should in theory win the fight just by armor alone.
Yeah.
But obviously then if I lose, it's mechanics thing, right? But the mechanics is can be fixed.
Easy. And yeah, and so anybody who's like asking the question, it just feels like we're just getting pushed nonstop. Momentum is really important in this game. And if you build that momentum at the start and you out armor them, you're always going into every fight later with an advantage. But it's hard at the start because it can be a little overwhelming and you don't necessarily want to just put all your chips out there to be countered, but sometimes you just have to go for it if you have the advantage. Armor advantage, health advantage, did you get a crack? Did you get a knock? Do you have better positioning? Now, if they're in height and they have better positioning, you have all the others and you don't fight it. You reposition, you bait them out. I'm guaranteed Tony's going to bait them, so hopefully we'll see an example bait later here. They're fighting. This is a great moment. Also, I'm going to highlight the Valkyrie choice. One thing players should always do is always make sure that the legend that you pick is highlighting the way you want to play. Tony's doing a really great job of utilizing Valkyrie flying around to get him to a different angle and position. You can do the same thing Pathfinder. Maybe you are a player who is really strong mechanically, who will play defensively and put fences and wait out a fight and want to corner peek or jiggle peek something. As long as it heightens the way you personally want to play and improve at. Something really to highlight. And every legend will teach you something a little different. It's why maybe on one legend you may not be as strong and then you try to play another one, it doesn't give you that same momentum and ability. I have that question for you. Is Valkyrie your main?
Valkyrie is my main. She's a little broken right now, but when I'm not using Valkyrie, I'm using Conduit.
Is that who did you get pred on? Was it Conduit or Valkyrie?
Conduit.
Okay. Both good legends.
Well, actually, pause.
Pause.
I hid in tree for a lot of time with Valkyrie.
Hey, at least there's the honesty. It's all good, bro.
It's all good though. But yeah, you know what I mean.
You have the gameplay to back it up. Sometimes, I mean,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
There's moments where if your team loses a fight and you need to mitigate a loss, hiding in a tree after your team has fought isn't a bad thing. Okay. Now, if you went and just hid in a tree to begin with, I don't know. Did you do that?
It was for trolls. We were just seeing, Sweet was doing it. There was like a thing.
Okay, I got you. Okay, that's fine.
But then, like, honestly, like for me, exactly going back to what you said at the beginning of the video, like how stressed and tense rank makes me because it's, especially in higher lobbies. Like, yeah. I didn't like that. I still wanted to vibe with chat. I'm really bad at multitasking. So, like, literally, there were times where I would just literally pull up, me and my boys, like, all right, guys, we're gonna play Happy Tree Friends. We're gonna hang out in the tree and we're gonna talk with chat. And it was funny because, one of the things you taught me a while back, which, has been making the streams a lot more enjoyable, is like the haters coming in, like, are like, they're giving me views, which is fun enough, you know what I mean? Like, they're in there spending hours of their day coming in and yapping. It wouldn't be possible if I wasn't sitting in a tree, you know what I mean? Paying attention to everybody. But it's funny now, how much time has gone by, and like I still have gameplay to back up to show like I'm just a troll,
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to troll. I mean, as long as you were doing it with your friends, it's perfectly fine. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, no, I'm not ruining people's games deliberately solo queuing going into a tree. No.
Yeah, I remember those days. That was brutal. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, you have the gameplay to back it up, which is why we're reviewing. But there's always things to improve upon, no matter what skill level you're at. I've seen pro players, casual players, people in comments, people who are being coached. Me, myself. It's always something to fix.
This Bangalore really pissed me off.
Got the jump on him, really nice. Getting the jump on the opponent has to be the most common thing that you need to do to win most fights, especially in solos. Now, I would say the hesitating here could get you eliminated. Now, this is where I'll nitpick, okay? Because you can gain a little more momentum here. Because you have information, all right? And it's a common mistake. It's 100% okay, all right? So right now, you know where they're at, right? You know where each other's at. But right now, because they know where you're at, you don't have the jump on them, right? And then also you haven't healed for an extended period of time, which is okay. Then when the stress starts hitting, you're 10 kills in, this is where stuff starts to fall apart, and it's perfectly fine. It happens to everybody. Happens to me too. I've been on near 20 bomb elimination games. I'm like, oh god, here it comes. You start like freaking out, and this is where you have to rely on fundamentals. And it's key to reposition. You need to go on height, or you take another angle so they don't know where you're at. But also, there's another mistake that was made here, and it's okay. This happens to everybody, so I'm going to highlight it so everybody can improve. This happens in the comment section, pro players. So you do significant damage. You have 100, you have the health advantage. So you got 120 in, right? And they were on blue. and you let him breathe. So the tactical is there, right? And granted, you do see a port come in, but you have such a massive advantage on that opponent to get them out and then potentially fly out, but you let them reset.
Did there was 2 people there, you know, did you see that?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's why I was being hesitant, because I didn't want to be the one getting thirded.
But you could have already moved it, like you would have already been moving ahead of time right here. And then saw it, and then reposition or get them out, right? Your goal, if you maintain enough pressure, because you would have already been moving right now, you got the information, 1, 2 seconds later, you use your tactical to get them out, but you're not moving on it, right? The tactical is used to push somebody out of pressure, but you need to be moving forward. What you did is you backed out from this encounter to reset. Now, this is an option, right? Because you did say there was another person nearby. But if you want to maintain that momentum and keep pushing because you're wasting resources, you have 4 cells, what can you do to get him out? And then the other person may hesitate because they don't know what's going on. The altar has no information at the moment. They have no idea if they're going to go up and fight 2 people. If you clean them up, the altar will come up potentially to come look for you, but then you're going to reposition and maybe they'll drop from height, and then you start playing a game of cat and mouse, right? But you do need resources, so let's see how this plays out. I know obviously you want it, but now that person healed up. Now there's 2 things. You've knocked 2 people, so which one are you going to chase? Now you run into the same problem as before, right? You're kind of seeing where the issue is. Because maybe at that point, if you're chasing the Revenant, the other person you catch out here, and then you're able to chase them faster because you were near their port. But now you're stuck between 2 people running around aimlessly near you. And then, let's see what happens. Woo, a little close there. That's okay. This scenario was going to happen regardless. All you got to do is speed it up. I think a lot of people struggle with the thought process that, oh, I need to find the ideal scenario when the ideal scenario passes you multiple times. I see a lot of people in the comment section blast a lot of people for free, but they don't act on it. So you notice how you went down and still killed this Revenant?
Yeah, if I went down initially, like you were telling me the damage, the Ultra would have pushed right away, and in fact, I would have gotten the 2 kills way sooner.
Yeah. And honestly, this person may not have done as much damage because, look, they're full HP. The Revenant would have only had 80 flush, and if that Revenant landed more shots there, this altar was still going to come for you anyways, right? And you're still only technically on blue, and then you heal up. But you see that pathway, that decision making, because the altar was going to hesitate regardless, because you would have been in this same spot, killed the Revenant, then looked up, and maybe the altar would have pushed you, but you also have this box. You know where to position. You know where to put yourself. It just gets a little nerve-wracking because nobody wants to put themselves in that stressful environment because you want to breathe a little bit. And so constant reminder for everybody that that pressure and that momentum feels uncomfortable, but it is right. Because you're fighting for better spots when you have information. Tony here had information. I promise you, anybody who's watching, you do have information in your fights. And when I VOD review a lot of people, you do have that. And you need to act on it. Now, another thing, let's say the altar came down and did blast, and then you reposition, and guess what? The altar has put themselves in a bad spot because they have to choose between you and the Revenant. They have to make a choice now. Now, granted, this is solos, but if you're doing this in solos, I promise you, people are doing it in ranked. I've seen knocks and nobody moves, and they have to maintain space. It doesn't make sense not to. You got to get the power position. Why leave them on height? Why let them have that? Now, here's another note. If you're in end zone and there's 10 squads still remaining and it's almost final zone, then yeah, you can't push. Probably the only scenario, right? Before somebody tries to comment and say, but Daz. I'm like, I know. You can also tell when people are not confident or confident, right? I think one thing you'll notice, Tony, is that when you are rolling and you got confidence, you'd be surprised how much that puts pressure on the opponent, and it just feels like they're less confident. It's almost, if you've played chess, have you played chess, Tony?
Yeah.
It's that feeling that maybe they're good, but you do something that's so ballsy and out there. Like, this is pretty ballsy. I'll admit that, because you just saw somebody on the left. I think you did, right?
Yeah, I did. And I ignored them. I'm like, I have to take this fight. I need the kills. And this is one of those things where, like, risking it for the biscuit. I'm nervous right now, obviously. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going to reload in front. I'm going to hit him.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, the person that knew I was here, I think they don't even turn around. I think they were scared.
I think so too. one thing that makes this okay, and this is a great teaching moment for anybody who's watching, okay? When people talk about, it just looks like you stand out in the open. Why is Tony standing out in the open? I saw one person comment, like, why is he standing out in the open? There's justification for it. So one thing, and look what happens, caught off guard. Now, if Tony lost this fight because he's got red versus blue, he just got mechanics checked, okay? But this person is looking the wrong way, still looking the wrong way, then shoots. They do a bit of damage, but they have to switch, and then you get the closeout. But that is when I talk about getting the jump. It's okay to stand out in the open if you get the jump, because you should statistically win that. Now, if you're standing out in the open and there's 3 squads around you, and you shoot somebody out in the open, then that's not really that smart. But you get what we're putting down here.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, I was in mid-rotation. I was not planning to fight. I was actually going to go behind the bins and stuff. But here we go. I get landed on again.
I mean, listen, they let their ego get the best of them. Technically, you did stun them.
I know I could have went, but I also am aware that was not the same person, because I'm wondering, oh, does that person on the zip come back still? Why I'm playing super slow.
Good sky nades. So good shots. You maintain pressure, and the nades do put pressure. Now, you could have made this decision when they land. It's nitpicking, but it helps immensely. So you got the advantage here, so technically you could have already flown up. Just putting it out there. You hit it for 25. They are stunned. Their sensitivity is lowered because of the stun. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know that happens at Arc Stars.
Yeah. It's like,
it's going to be hard for them to swipe over. And if they're on roller, it's virtually impossible then. It feels bad for them. So you could have already gone. Go ahead.
I was going to say, by the way, shout out to the loser dying in zone. You threw my game.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There's one right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Just saying. Go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
I like that. See the city there right there. Ring. That was his extra kill right there. Because you and keep in mind, maybe you already would have lost a kill because you hesitated on this fight. It's possible. Maybe you would have thirded another encounter. It's very possible. Because that's where you have to remove the luck by having so much momentum going from fight to fight to fight to fight that you don't miss out on the chance to hit somebody maybe for 30 flesh and get an extra kill. So because you slow them, you have the advantage. You could have gotten them out a little sooner here. Now, you throwing the grenades is the same pressure as you throwing your Valkyrie tactical up. Maybe they popped a cell here and you still have the advantage, right? So the Arc Stars happened there. They could have happened a little sooner, but I really think if you just went up on that initially, you would have been golden. This guy didn't even land that many shots. You got nothing to worry about. Don't worry so much, because if you went up, this is what you would do in VOD review. If you went up when they got hit for 25 blue armor and you have red and you lost and you whiff 4 massive shots, it's not a matter of, God, I should have taken the fight different. No, you had the advantage. They were slowed. You just missed your shots, and that's okay. You just have to capitalize in the moment. It's okay. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Happens to pros. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, and during this grind, like, that's what I found. Like, if I'm putting myself in easy situations, I'm not going to get better. Like, I know it sounds weird. Like, I have to put myself in these situations where I get the best version of myself out of there. So what you're saying to me right now is, like, that's a valid option. So next time I'm playing a game and I stun somebody, right? Get the jump on him. You know this, Tony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you did 25 damage. If I'm ever in a situation now where it's red versus blue, I stunned, you best believe I'm going to jump on him now after hearing it.
Yeah, because you can win. I believe in you. I believe anybody could win in that scenario because the stats are in your favor. Like, this guy's on white. Now, there is a hard part. You are ego challenging super hard out in the open against a Vantage that dis-snipe you. But to be fair,
no one's in the area. My battle sense is not on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going.
And it makes sense. I mean, they miss their shots. And this is why I also tipped advantages, okay? If you miss your shots on Vantage, it's so apparent that you should be shoved because your only thing is to land those shots. In close range, your hitbox you're at a disadvantage. So you did it here. You just didn't do it in other spots. And when people shove you, I think some people get mad and say, why did they shove that? Remember, did that person shove you with a statistical advantage on the fight? If they did not, and let's say you're both on res and they just run at you face first, then sure, you could argue otherwise. Unfortunate for that Vantage. Feel bad.
Oh, yep, silly.
And, you know, here's a good example. This is why you don't wait to fight, because then you run into scenarios where you're red versus white. I mean, right? What if
Well,
that
yeah, what are they doing? What are they doing in ring 4 with white shield?
Yeah, like you didn't go into any harvesters, you didn't hit any care packages to look for materials, which 2 just dropped. You're not fighting for anything.
Scan beacons.
Yeah, beacon scans, looking for opponents. I don't know, going around looting and picking up the evos on the ground. I mean, almost virtually anything. You have to move. I think some people play this like it's a military sim, and you can apply that logic, but apply it with haste. Urgency. Urgency is key. Wait a minute, if I don't hit the beacon and go loot these areas for X, Y, and Z, then I am going to miss out on my armor, right? UAV essentially very smart here. All right, this is smart.
Isolated fight.
Yeah.
Isolated fight is what I want.
I like it. You did pick up somebody. I think they're further behind, but this is still a good fight. White armor, nice. And this is what happens at the end. This is where the 20 bombs get easier, because there are a lot of people who rat or are scared to fight. And if you're scared to fight, my biggest tip is don't be. I mean, Tony, you would say whenever I've given you a lot of tips about just fighting, I mean, clearly it's made a difference, right?
Yes, and that's kind of what I've applied moving forward. I think my thing is I'm just afraid of. I think everybody is afraid of being judged or being told that was a bad decision. But if you don't make enough mistakes, how do you know when the right one is happening?
Exactly.
You know, like you got to go in there and push. Like, I know I got poked by that guy, but I want to test him and see like how good does he really think he is. You know?
Yeah, litmus test.
I'm the better person. I have red shield. I haven't touched him yet. And I'm going in here just assuming that I'm just the better player.
Purple. But you did clutch it. Because they're not showcasing presence. I think the biggest mistake this individual did is you are assessing. Here's another one if you're going to assess without damage, okay? Let's talk about what the conduit did. And this is what other players do. Are they peeking me? When they peek, do they miss? As I move up and I keep holding angles, this is a good spot. I notice that you're being more aware, Tony. I'm going to highlight this. You moved over to the head glitch in case I did peek you. It's nice, dude. After we did that coaching, I see it already being applied.
Yeah,
huge.
Huge.
You're thinking, you didn't just run out in the open right here. You had your fallback, which is huge. Very smart, very smart. And then you have your second one here once you move up, but they're not peeking. Sky nades, putting pressure. And they're still not peeking. I understand. Oh, they messed up the sky nades, but it's okay. Listen, you know, it happens. My grenades are awful. You went for it. Now, it could have gotten eliminated there, but listen, they weren't peeking, and I don't understand why they weren't putting any pressure on you. They had technically had the height advantage as you're moving up. They could have caught you out multiple times.
And if they had ultimate, they should have ulted that height and forced me to stay bottom, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Could have ulted himself there.
Oh, big damage. Poor guy. Now, you do have a hemlock. You do have a hemlock. I'm just pointing out right there. That's a little bit risky. And that guy just kind of stuck it.
I was low-key already frustrated because I'm looking at the scoreboard, I'm looking at this, and at this point, I just rage send everything.
Yeah. I mean, just you're aggro pushing because everyone is respecting in the lobby at this point. Two more. At this point, if you want the 20 bomb. Oh, yeah, so last guy, yeah. I'm going to be honest. I mean, you kind of just got RNG'd out of the 20 bomb here. Reviewing it.
The mistakes were... When we look back at this, obviously, let's go ahead and let it play out. But
we watched to the end. We got it.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, so I think the last fight is you're moving in. I would say to get your momentum and where you save some time, maybe you could have gotten towards the end here and found somebody else or engaged because you had 5. Let's see if anybody else killed each other. I think you killed everyone. Let's see where it might have happened.
Well, there's a couple obvious ones. Where I died when I lost that chow to the Pathfinder the first time I died.
Yep.
If I won that, I have the 20 this game. Not hitting my shots efficiently on the roof, the kill that was stolen from me.
Yep.
There was a kill that was stolen from me. And just in general, like there are moments where you've caught me where I gotta move faster. And like you said, it's hard when the nerves are hitting. I kind of like slow down to like take a breath, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, oh, dude, I haven't breathed, I haven't blinked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think the biggest, most obvious one, and I don't want to say that to everybody because my 20 bomb that I got, I died early with 1 kill, and I said, nope, I'm playing this out. That means I got 19 kills, did not die after that.
Yeah.
You know? So don't give up. Like, I know, like, for me, I rage quit right away a lot, especially on stream, because I'm like, nope, this is just inefficient, but play it out, man, because then you just be like, oh, I'll just take this game as reps then, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's a repetition. Like I'm getting my reps in to figure out how to be better. But I think what I've learned from this one and how I've applied it moving forward to other games. This is right here. This is the one. If I
Yeah.
hit that shot, I get him, and then obviously I'll light him up. But it's just mechanical issues. Now I know, like after watching with you, like these can easily be fixed, right?
Yeah.
Like a little bit more time in the range, moving a little bit faster. That's all easy. And then before you know it, like, will I get 20 bombs every game? Probably not, but I will definitely be
Increases your odds.
Yeah, it increases my odds for sure.
I know when I said I'm nitpicking on certain fights, but if you clean up, there was about 3 fights to be cleaned up a little bit faster, maybe 4. But if you add up that time, 4 fights is equal to 20 seconds. If you say 5 seconds a piece, right, for 4 fights. And that makes a pretty big difference. 20 seconds of momentum and just constant fighting and moving around and eliminating people. That means you could have gotten into another third party or stolen a kill, snagged a kill, ran up on somebody, and we don't know that. And the tip I always give, because have you done speedrunning before ever, Tony? Yes. Or you know of speedrunning? Yes. Apex Legends is essentially a dance. This is probably the most important tip. I'm going to step away. The round always plays under a certain time constraint because by the end zone happens and there's no other time allocated. What you do in that time is vital of how efficient you were looting, how efficient you took fights, and how much damage that you decided to output in every single encounter. You only have X, Y, and Z amount of time when you're playing. So you got to maximize that time. And it sucks because that's where it gets really sweaty and it feels like speedrunning because that's what 20 bombs, high kill games, or putting pressure. Because if a fight takes 3 minutes, 4 minutes, then you just missed out on potentially 2 other fights. If you clean up a fight in a minute versus the 4 minutes, you potentially have 4 other fights to win. Or rotate on, or surprise people, or get the jump on them, or have better positioning, or gate them. There's so many different variables that can play out differently. And it's like that infamous saying of butterfly effect. Because you were there sooner, does that impact the flow of the lobby? The answer is yes.
Yes.
It's massive. It makes a big difference.
Yes.
This was really good. Hopefully you guys all found this helpful. Thank you so much, Tony, for hopping in and chatting through your gameplay, for sharing it. I'm excited. Guys, you got to be sure to check out Tony's channel. Right? Check out his channel. He's going to be posting his journey as he was grinding through a 20 bomb at some point. He's doing it on stream. He's trying to get as many legends as possible. I still need to put more time in solos. I appreciate all of you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. I'll see you guys later.